Hello everyone, myself Dinesh Prajapat, Assistant Professor of CD Memorial College in IT Department. Today I was discussing on a Python programming language. Before starting Python, we are discuss about a programming and language. Programming means we can communicate to machine or for our instruction, and when we instruct to machine follow the our instruction to perform any task. Language means we have a medium of communication like Hindi, English and other regional language. But in the case of machine doesn't understand any other regional language like Hindi, English and so we use a mediator of programming language like C, C++, Java and other programming language platform. Now we are discussing Python. Earlier 1989 a developer was start to develop on Python language. When they are working on Python language, it is a founder like Goodius and some are watching any TV show like a Python Circus. They decided to mark a name of language as a Python based on this TV serial. Okay, after they decided 1991 and 1992 we launched a Python name of language in the entire world. They are working on this because this is the easiest mode of programming language. Because earlier we have a language like C, C++, they have lots of rules and instruction and grammatical portion. So most of the developers are facing issues at learning brackets and semicolons and all this silly issues they're facing a problem. So Python is the simplest, easiest form of programming language. In this session, we are using these are topics. The covering of these are topics like introductions of Python, what we can do with the Python, key features of Python, why learn the Python, and comparing Python to other language and how to write a Python code. Okay, first of all, introduction. Python is a widely used programming language entire world nowadays, and in entire world Python we are using a programming language. Before a Python, you know very well, we are using a C, C++ and Java and all things, but nowadays we are using a Python and interpreter programming language. Python has an interpreter programming language because in interpreter programming language, Python read line by line syntax and raise in case any syntax have an error, and interpreter raise an error line by line. Before the Python in C, C++, we use a compiler. In case of compiler read entire programmer and then raise a error. Then third is it was created in 1991, developed by a Python Software Foundation organization, and its syntax is very easy for developer because it's just like an English statement. We can use it just like a step by step in Python. No any restriction required related to like semicolons, brackets, comma, and other programming languages. Okay. In what we can do the Python and Python programming language, it helps of Python programming. We can create a web application, we can create a Windows application, we can connect from databases. In database case, we can create a front end on Python language and connect to any database like MS SQL Server, SQL Server, MySQL Server, Oracle, and so on. And Python can read a file. From Python, with help of we can read a file. With help of Python, we can create a file. With the help of we can modify the file, and Python can be used to handle and a different platform, different complex mathematical equation. In the programming language, you know very well that we have a lots of programming language like C, C++, but Python is a major important feature is the mathematical. Python solved a complex mathematical equation in easiest mode because in the Python no limitation, no requirement is there. Key feature of Python is a feature, a most important feature is like easy to learn and use. First of all, in Python we can we have already discussed in Python syntax is a very easiest form. In easiest form we can write just an English statement, so we can learn easily. no additional semicolons, curly brackets, and rules are required. So developer and can easily learn. And at cross-platform compatibility in Python, we have a platform independent compatibility. Platform independent means we can write a code in Windows, Linux, any other platform and execute on another platform. Just like we can write a code in Windows, but we can execute in a Mac OS, Linux OS. That means a Python is a platform independent language. Dynamic typing variable. A dynamic typing variable type is a detailed about automatically runtime and is versatile language. It supports multiple programming, including the object-oriented and object-oriented, function-oriented, method-oriented, model-oriented, and procedure programming language. So that means Python, a versatile language, is the follow the lower to high level all the concept in a programming language. And most important feature is open source. Open source means when we are using Python, we not required to pay any license amount. That means Python is a open source programming language. Why learn Python? Python has a big library of big amount of library. Like Python have a related to random library, OS related library, any other library. In the library, we have a lots of issue programming concept to implement. These concept help to prepare a program, prepare a concept, prepare an application. Error friendly is error friendly because when we Python get error, we can use error, we can solve error because Python interpret language step by step. So that means we can easily solve the step by step problem. Project oriented learning because we can easily create a projects to perform web applications, Windows application, and any other type of application. Easy syntax. Python के syntax is a very easy syntax. We can use like this. Now here we can now show the comparison of language. Now here we can find a Python, a C programming language. When we are using a C programming language, we need a header file. First we need a header file, then main file, then print statement, double quotes, backslash and semicolon, return, zero. These are a programming language syntax. Okay. Now same as we go for a Java. In the Java same case we use a public, class, main, curly brackets, void, static void, main, string. These are a lots of syntaxes you are using a programming language. Now we can use a programming language by help of Python. We not require any type of semicolon, curly braces, or any other segment. But most important feature is this: in the Python we not using a brackets and all things, but we need to know about the indentation. Indentation is the most important part of Python because apart from brackets and because we have to manage indentation in Python. If we don't manage properly, Python will get error by the indentation. So space management, indentation majorly important in the Python rule. Now Python support ID. In today's now world, lots of IDEs available is there for using a multiple language. But as a beginner, we have to use most supportive editor is this, like Python IDE. Second, we have a Jupyter in Anaconda IDE, and third is a Spider. But in Jupyter IDE and Spider IDE, we have a lots of help from a IDE application. Okay, so beginner we can learn syntax of Python properly. So we have to use a Python editor. To use Python editor, we have to learn easily a syntax step by step. We can use how we use a Python just like a Python, simple Python print hello and hello world. No any syntax required in Python. Just like we have print hello and hello world round bracket. That means Python follow only simple statement. No header files required, no semicolons required, no curly braces required, no any other library required to use this Python and this. Here you can find a print out is a print hello and then hello world. When we use this file, this editor, after the write a code, we have to save file in extension of Python. Extension is a symbolic information of identification of file which application support. Python extension is a .py. So when we write a code, after that we must be save file, then we execute. When we save the file name of if you choose any identification of file, after that you can use dot and py extension for a Python. Okay, so that means when we write the code, and then you'll find that py is the extension of Python. That means when we save in Python, after that we have a key to execute program like F5. When we press F5, compiler Python interpret the program and produce output. This like a hello world. Okay, now simple सा statement है, like हमने लिखा print f like hello world. No other syntax is required. When we press F5, output is there. That means this is a Python output, hello world. Okay, now in the case of programming language, when we are using a programming language, a most simple basic information we have to know. If we don't clear our fundamental information, we have to face any problem. So we start the most important feature of any programming language like Python comments and basic. In the Python comments, we have to instruct, we have to some lines for our future information. Why we use this code, why we use the code, like we can use the comment. Comment are a special statement our interpreter ignore when convert the machine language. When we create a program, we has a hash character. Hash character used for a single line comment statement, and after that we can use a programming code. When we execute the program, interpreter skip ignore this line and print the statement. After that, second option is a multiple comments. Multiple line comments we can use triple double quotes. If we have some most of the information in the multiple lines, so we can use a triple double quotes, like start from triple double quotes, use this line, most of the line you can use, and when we want to end, you can use again triple double quotes to end a multiple line comment. After the comment, you can use your programming code and compiler skip the comment statement and execute the code. After that, the most important is a variable. What is variable? Generally, we can say variable can vary a value, but what is the exactly meaning? Variable is a memory location which can define name and store data to perform any operation. Okay, now we can check. Now see, it is the area of memory. Okay, now is a part of area we can define just like a name A, AB, A1. This type of name we can declare a memory location. This is a memory location is part of area. So we can, when we are using variable, we have to know what is exactly mean. That means variable is a memory location. That means variable is a part of memory location. We can define a name. That memory location we can assign a name, any name. We can use and store data. When we define a name, we can use name. We can store a data of different types like numeric data, string data, character data. We can store a data in a variable. Perform. Why we use the data? We can use data to perform any operation. Operation means operator and operand जो task perform करते हैं, that is called operation. Is a operation. When we use variable name, we have to know some rules of variable naming. Like rules of variable naming, first we can create a variable with the start of alphabet. Second, in the variable name, we can use digit after an alphabet. We cannot start a variable name with a digit. Always we use the alphabet, and after the alphabet we can use any of digit. In the variable name, we cannot use any special type of symbol like @ questions mark, and so on. Only we use underscore symbol. In the variable name, we can use uh, we can use space instead of underscore, using space. In the variable name, we cannot use any space. Avoid the Python keyword. In the variable name, we have to avoid the keyword. Why keyword? Because keyword are reserved word by programming language. So that means we have to avoid to use as a variable name. Otherwise, our compiler or interpreter raise an error when we use a name of variable. Variable names are always case sensitive. So variable name are case sensitive. In the variable name, when we use like a, small a, capital A, computer read us separately, because these are based on programming language. Like a programming language, in programming language is case sensitive is a ASCII code. Like capital A was separate ASCII code, a small a as a separate ASCII code. That means compiler always show case sensitive or programming language. In the last suggestion is, in the Python programming language, a variable name always should be small and meaningful. That means user or developer can easily understand how they can use and how to use. Now, in the variable name, when we use define variable define name, we have a rules of variable naming. After that, we store data. What is data? Data means, if we know what is data, data means a raw information. Yeah, we can say a raw fact. Okay, unmanaged fact. And when we store, so that means when we store, we have a different type of data, like numeric, like string. So we can store in data and perform operation. Perform operation means we can use operator to perform operation. First we'll go for the data. What is data? In the Python, we have a lots of data types to define a variable, to know which type of value is stored in Python variable. Now we have the numeric type of variable like dictionary, boolean, set, and sequence type of. In the numeric, we have an integer and float. In the integer, we have a simple numeric value we can store in the variables, and in the float variable, we can use a decimal value. We can use. In the complex number, we can use alphabet and number, both the use. And in the boolean value, only in boolean value we have a bool type like the true and false, like 0 and 1. Set, we can use set also. Sequence type, in the sequence type we have a string. String means group of character. When we use a group of character in the variable, it's called a string. Tuples, group of collections, we can use collections. List, we can use a collection. In the Python, tuple, set, these are collection, is the replacement of array in any other programming language. In the Python, we can use list and tuple to set of symbolic name, numeric name, all these. These are variables. When we declare a variable like this, a symbolic name, like numeric have an int, float, and complex. Sequence is a string, list, and tuple, and mapping is a dictionary, and last is a boolean is a bool data type. These are a symbolic name we can use as a keyword. But in the Python, we no need to require use data type when we declare a variable. In the Python, we no need to require when we declare variable. Okay, we just use only variable like x, and when we assign the value 50. When we use a variable x and assign the 50, interpret store in value of x. Okay, now when we use x in a 65, then the 6.50 in this, so automatically when interpreter understand when x 50 is stored in x, it's called integer type of variable. When we store a 0.5 in x, that means we understand this is a float type of variable. When we use the variable x equals to like hello world, that means group of character we are using. Automatically Python assign the data type is a string. When we use a number of group of symbolic name, like that means we use the value of x, when we use the name like, that means is a set. Okay, in this example we can assign the value. After the assign the value, we have to know how to use, how to perform operation with the variables. Okay, now when we require to perform operation in the Python programming, yeah, any other programming, we have to know about operators like Python operators. First we have a arithmetic operator. Like in the arithmetic operator we have a plus, minus, multiply, divide and mod symbol. In the method we have perform addition with use of plus symbol, subtraction, multiplication, divide and mod. Mod used for a remainder, to find a remainder of any, that means we can use a percent symbol. Okay, that after that we have a relation operator. We can say as a relation operator, we can say a comparison operator. Relational operator and comparison both are the same. Okay, now first we can have a less than equal to, greater than equal to, equals to and not equals to. These are a relational, or we can say comparison operators. To compare a value, to check a conditional based program, we can use the relation operator. After that we can use the and, or not. And when we require a condition more than one condition, that means it's an and operator. When we require check more true from one or more than one condition, is a one true, that means or. And then we check a negative condition, that means we can use a not. In the case of and, when we use the two condition, if one condition is a true, second condition, one condition is true, then second condition is check. In case we find a when first condition is false, in the case of and, second condition will not check. In same as when we use the or operator, and which we find the first condition is a true, compiler interpreter not check a second condition, because he only know one condition is true, that means or will be implicated. When we try to check negative condition, so that means we can use not operator. In the bitwise operator, we can use the bitwise symbol, ampersand, or less than symbol, shifting operator. And next is a assignment operator. In the assignment operator, we have a assignment operator equals to operator, plus equals to, minus equal to, multiply equal to, or mod equals to. Use of assignment operator is there. This when we use like x equals to 10 and x plus x equal to 20. That means is the 30. But in the assignment we can directly use x equal to 20. Now we can use x plus equal to 40. Automatically compiler assign the value of 60. So that means in the assignment case we can use easily is rather than the traditional calculation, we can use a plus equal to, like plus equal to, minus equal to, multiply equal to. It means assignment and addition subtraction operator is using perform. Now after that, how to use a Python code. In the Python code, when we try to write any Python code, we have we need to install Python IDE in our system. Okay, when we write, we have a editor in Python in our system. That means we can use just like if you want to print a simple statement, simple message, then in name, just you can write only single statement is this, like print hello. Okay, like this. Now after that, a print statement is print the hello world. In the you want to take input from user, that means we can use the input function. Input function, in the input function we can take input from user, like in variable name equals to input and then value. That means user can enter the information when we compile a program, when we execute a program, and compiler read the instruction and read the value and print this. Like just like we can write a val equals to input, enter the value, and then when we show output, like compile, first we have message enter your value. When we write a hello Rakesh, then output is a hello Rakesh. Okay, in the case of Python, we can use a different type of operators to perform any operation from user input. Like you can perform a addition operation. So like that means you have a two variable like x and y. After that, using a variable, you can use a int input. Why we are using int? In the int method, it's the typecasting. In the compiler, when we take input from user, by default, a value from is a string. So when we try to add a string, that's like in the case of string, when we use a 10, that means 0, 0. We find a 0, 0. So that means if we want to perform, then user enter the value in the form of 10. So that means in the convert in numeric value, we can use int. Like when we use x equal to 10, so compiler it perform like the 10 numeric value. When you use x equal to input, like compiler take the value of the string format. So that's why we are using a integer typecasting. In the same case of when we use a float, when we use the other type of symbol, you have to define that means a data type, which type of value you can use, you want to add. So we can use the integer input type of the number. So when the user enter the numeric value convert in integer value and store in x. Same goes to here when the user enter the numeric value, then enter in a y. After that, we can perform a operation. In some cases, we can directly use x equal to input. That means when we require the x, that means you can use sum equals to int then x. That means we can here you can use also this type of here. But initially we can use a int method. So that means when we perform any operation, we doesn't require again the typecasting, because after the typecasting, x is a numeric type of value. So we can perform a operation as an arithmetic operation. Same goes here, we can perform a lots of operation using this help of these operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and this type of program enter. In case of some programs, some different types of program, like we can basically some basic program is like you can understand easily like a program of swapping of two number. Like we can use just like take an input, and so if you want to swapping of two number, like just like x equal to x plus y, then again हमने कर दिया यहाँ पर y equal to x minus y, xy. So that we can perform all the operation that to perform swapping operation. If we can use a swapping without third variable, with third variable. So we have a lots of type of operation we can use and perform the Python operation. These are in this session we cover introduction of Python, programming, why we are to Python, and how to create, how to write a programming language, comparison of C and C++ with Python, Java code, how to write a program, ease of syntax. These are a session of programming language. Okay, thank you.